Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel here with a fantastic guest, Dana Gardner of New England fame, a fellow New Englander here, and spring has sprung. Dana, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. Enjoying Persephone's return to the top of the world.
Yes, you are in the wonderful wilds of New Hampshire, up in the mountains, I believe, right?
Lakes region, actually, but not too far from the mountains.
Lakes and mountains, they do go together in New Hampshire, so I'm looking forward to summertime. But before all that, let's dive into our chat. I've known you for years online on social media. You're pretty prolific, but introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Evan. And hello, everyone. Yeah, I've been an IT industry analyst for 23, 24 years. And before that, I was an IT industry journalist and covered things for a variety of publications, including InfoWorld. And I was the founding news editor of the InfoWorld online news site. Went to a couple of analyst firms and then created my own analyst firm back in 2005 called Inner Arbor Solutions, which roughly translates to Between the Trees. So I've helped people as an industry analyst understand the forest if they're a tree dweller, or understand the trees if they're a forest dweller. Been observing and pontificating on tech stuff since around 1989. So seen a lot of changes over that time. I also was an early person into the creation of content online. Took advantage of podcasting when that became available, as well as blogging, and then the social media. Different platforms as well. So I've tried to be on the vanguard of media and technology for a couple of decades now.
That's fantastic. And I dare not ask the question, what's changed since you started your career? Because like everything has changed.
Pretty
But
much.
what, from the perspective maybe of more of a journalist and editor, how has that changed over the period? Because that's radically different, that profession.
Yeah, I think there's some basics that are the same. Good reporting is good reporting. But the idea of instant and always on has changed. You used to be able to put the paper to bed and you'd be done for the day or the week, or if you had a magazine for the month.
Oh,
Uh,
the good old days.
Yes, you're never done anymore. And so the idea of a second day, third day lead doesn't make sense. There's also perhaps a downside around the need for clickbait and the idea that it's an advertising model that's driven by clicks rather than positioning of ads next to content. So that's driven people to write headlines in a certain way or cover stories in a certain way that maybe is not just involved with getting the right information to the right people in the right way that they can use. So, the advertising and the click model. We thought that was kind of going to be interim, Evan, when this first started 25 years ago. That this we'll figure out this financial model for online publishing someday, but for now we'll do these crazy banner ads, and maybe Google will come up with some ideas about inserting them, and that's never gone away. It's in fact become more entrenched. So I wonder if we're ever going to get a. I don't know if the subscription model works. I mean, I keep getting asked to buy newspapers on the other side of the country that I might want to read one story on every 3 months. So I'm not going to subscribe to them, but I don't know if that model works well either.
Well, that's all packaging of subscriptions is all the rage. I wonder if we're getting subscribed out. I mean, I subscribe to everything under the sun. I think my online streaming subscriptions now outweigh my old cable bill, which used to be like 200 something dollars a month. And I think there's this idea in the enterprise of too many SaaS services being consumed, and in this time of efficiency, rationalizing that.
Yes,
So you might be onto something there.
right.
When it comes to being a content creator and analyst, is this like the best of times, I wouldn't say worst of times, but where are we? Somewhere in the middle as far as what you and I do as a profession.
Well, I think there's a whole lot more opportunity to publish in so many different ways, particularly in the B2B field. So in consumer, we have influencers that are getting millions of followers for being of a lifestyle type or advocating for certain products and services. But in the B2B space, we're here to, educate people about products and services, help them make good, rational decisions, get them the information that they need. And so these really are sort of halcyon days for anybody to be a publisher. You can be a marketing executive at a company. You can be a consumer advocate. You can be what we used to call the old tech clubs where people just band together in order to understand a technology or a company or a type of product and service or technology subset. So anybody could be a publisher, and many people do. Doing it well and doing it in a way that helps educate people while also making the sponsor feel like they're getting value is a delicate balance. And if you do it right, everybody can be happy and benefit, and you can be a content producer and make a living too. So I think we're still in a good place and a good time. I just hope that people understand that content, just because you make content doesn't make it consumable or consumed. And there's this interesting cross section between having good content and having an audience that will see it. It's a shame that there's a lot of good content that doesn't get anywhere, and it's a shame that there's terrible content that gets everywhere. So yeah,
Yeah, and you have good content that gets everywhere. So I guess you're in the upper right hand quadrant of
yeah,
if
right.
you want to design that. And you have, I think, 200,000 LinkedIn followers almost. So what's your sweet spot? I mean, obviously you have the written word. You've been a prolific podcaster. We're doing video now. Do you have any favorite medium or channel or platform, and why?
I like audio. I like podcasts
Hmm.
best because I think you nowadays you're going to be multitasking, and to just look at some head like you and I, a couple of talking heads, there's some value. But I think listening is more productive when it comes to technology subjects. Now, if we have some really good graphics or be real or things that we can show people, then great. But a lot of times you want to get people the knowledge in order to get them directed to where they can then drill in and get more knowledge and data. And so I like the idea of audio that points to text or that work in conjunction so that you can get the wonderful value of hyperlinks, which is it's only 20 years old, but it's still very powerful, where people can drill in and find what they want. So that's the idea, is a funnel. And with this content that we're doing and having conversations in a natural language medium that people relate to as humans, and then be able to take that steps further and drill down and actually maybe even buy a product or test a product themselves. That's sort of the end game, and that's what I like to do.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I mean, I consume and listen to podcasts all day long. The sort of insider's trick is a video like this, you can easily turn into an audio only podcast with just a click these
Yep.
days. And also, the dirty secret is, the platforms love video traffic and eyeballs. So they preference, video traffic, particularly, YouTube, but even Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. So you'll
Yeah.
get an extraordinary amount of reach. We'll get like 2-3 million reach on this little video just because of that reality to how the algorithms function. So,
Yeah.
it's tricks of the trade, I guess. So, the clients you deal with are blue chip, IT, Fortune 500, companies. What's on their mind these days? What's top of mind when they talk to you and you talk to them? What are they really worried about, thinking about?
Sure. Well, like the world in general, there's a lot of unknowns right
Hmm.
now, and people are curious as to what comes next, and nobody seems to have a good beat on that. So it's a kind of wait. There's always this pressure in Silicon Valley to find the next big thing, and I understand how venture capitalists and private equity firms have billions of dollars that people want them to invest in such a way that it brings out the biggest return, that they get in early and exit first as well. And so, yeah, so there's always that. But I think that there's a recognition that we still haven't solved the productivity problem when it comes to technology, people, and process. And because we've got labor issues in so many places now, the technology and the process perhaps need to play a bigger role. But I don't know that they're ready. I think the
Hmm.
people are still, the wetware is still the primary driver of productivity and innovation. And we talk a lot about chatbots and machine learning and artificial intelligence. I don't know that we're going to be replacing people anytime soon. Maybe I'm old fashioned in thinking that. I think people need better tools. I think people need better integration at a process level. And so I think there's a lot of concern that people are going to be becoming perhaps a little jaded about technology and maybe not just jump into the new best thing, that maybe that they're going to become a bit more conservative in how they buy and subscribe to new technology. And so I see that in some of my clients that are concerned that the growth of the past isn't going to necessarily be the growth pattern and trajectory of the recent past. The past few years have been pretty amazing because of COVID, because of work from home, because of the need for distributed hybrid workforces. So, yeah, I think there's concern on sort of a systemic basis, not just concern about little stuff, but big stuff. Are people going to make moves away from technology? Are they going to stop subscribing to, like you mentioned earlier, to so many things instantly? Will budgets get slashed? Will security be sufficient? A lot of big questions, a lot of concerns, a lot of maybe a little bit of angst going on out there.
Yeah, a little, maybe a lot. We live in this productivity obsessed culture, particularly in business. We're always looking for new tools and apps and services and hacks and for growth, for productivity, for doing more with less. Are we going to hit a wall? Have we hit a wall in some way, both as individuals, as humans? We can only do so much, but also as organizations, or is this just going to be a continual mountain that we climb?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Evan. I think there's some significant evidence, even if it's anecdotal, that people
Mhm.
have sort of hit a wall, that they are um, overwhelmed, that the technology has gone from being a helper to a hindrance. And some people are just checking out. If you're a little bit older and you did well with your investments in the past few years, and maybe COVID made you think that I shouldn't be thinking about a 30-year horizon, maybe I should be thinking about a 10-year horizon. They're saying, why should I sit in front of a computer for 10 hours a day while I'm yelling at the computer more than I used to, just so that I can make more money that I probably maybe don't even need. So I think
Mm.
there's a lot of kind of that reflection, self-awareness, and it's not just the baby boomers. I think it's not just people of retirement age. I think a lot of people are seriously looking at, do I want to spend all day sitting in front of a computer, whether I'm at home or not, in a fashion that is just reacting to Slack and
Mm.
or 16 other SaaS apps that are thrown at me, and I've got authentication hell that I got to work through constantly. It just seems like something clicked where the positive benefits are being outweighed by the negative.
Wow, you're making me reassess my life choices here. So I'm not sure if this is like a counseling session
Yeah, right.
or an interview,
B2B
but it's
therapy.
but that is a really good question. And ironically, we've seen the rise of ChatGPT and OpenAI and chatbots now, and I feel more productive than ever. I'm not sure whether it's an illusion or not, but I definitely putting out more content and more tweets. Believe it or not, I've tweeted it both through automatically and by hand like a million times over 15 years.
Right.
But with these tools, are you seeing obviously just a surge of a frenzy of activity and interest around
Yeah.
Chat GPT? But are you going to see? Do you think we'll see any real bottom line impact both on us as individuals, or is this just a nice fun moment we are all in?
I've been kind of a booster and an advocate for many of the various ways of technology over the past 20, 25 years. For some reason, this one hasn't gotten me too excited.
Hmm.
I'm
Wow.
still interested in what we used to call big data just a few years
Mhm.
ago. I don't know that we've actually gotten to the point where we're able to, in a meaningful way, become data driven as individuals or organizations yet. And I think that sort of has to come first before you
Hmm.
start looking at the advanced ways of crunching that data and putting that data into language models. I don't think we're even at really artificial intelligence yet. I think we're still just scratching the surface of machine learning. And so I don't want to get out too far in front of my skis. And I don't think other people want to as well. I think we're still having to sort of reassess the basics of getting as much data and information and content, unstructured data as well as structured, for assessing, managing, measuring, and then making good choices based on the analysis that we get from that. That hasn't happened yet. I don't think organizations are, some of course better than others, but I'd like to see a bit more emphasis on returning to some of the discussions about being data driven as a precursor to being digitally transformed before we get way out ahead and to start thinking about letting machines do it for us. I'm not ready to cede to Google or Microsoft quite yet, the decision making about thoughts and impressions. I'd like to get more better data analytics tools so that I can use what I think I do better than a machine still, and that is to make good analysis, good choices, good projections.
Wow, another twist. You're raising some really interesting topics. Um, I notice when I talk to peers and fellow industry pundits, gurus, what have you, we're all sort of middle aged, I guess. And how do we encourage more young people to get into this career in IT analysis and thought leadership? And a lot of us are kind of getting gray and beyond. I don't see many younger folks doing this. Maybe I'm missing them. Maybe they're on TikTok and
Yeah.
I'm just not watching it. Maybe they're more exciting, interesting things to do. But what's your thought on mentoring and building a career in this space?
Yeah, I guess, those of us in a certain ilk and age, we're in the right place at the right time to be able to be both media and technology types.
Hmm.
I think there's been more specialization over the past decade or perhaps more, where people are focused on one or a couple of things, but not five or seven things. And if you've been doing something and followed it through the path, both the media and the technology, then you're able to kind of synthesize in a way that may be unique, may be a little bit um, special, because we lived through it and we didn't get a chance to specialize. And if you were on the vanguard of trying to be what's new and interesting vis-a-vis media and publishing and being online, and also following the trajectory of what the technology was capable of, I think that's kind of a unique time and place. And so maybe there won't be a need for that, in the not too distant future. But we've always felt like the technology was moving faster than the ability of people to absorb it. And the ability of media to help people explain and learn and understand in order to ameliorate that gap, or to help people assess and absorb and improve themselves and their businesses through technology, that's been kind of a hot topic for the past 20 years. I don't know that it can go on forever. At some point, we might need to get just to a stasis where we take what we have and make it, make better use of it rather than just look for something new. It's been kind of a unique time. Maybe we'll look back in 20, 30, 40 years after we've moved on to other things, and say, wow, that was a kind of unique time between 1985 and 2025, perhaps, where technology and media were revolutionary. It was sort of a digital revolution. And then things sort of plane out, or reach an equilibrium of some sort, and it's not as pressing. So I don't know that we're going to need people like us in 10 years. I hope not. I hope maybe we can get to the point where things don't move so fast that we have to be um, reassessing every 2 months reality.
Yeah, well,
It's
maybe
kind of wild.
slow is the new fast. I'd love that. Now we're all getting back into the world and events. And what's on your agenda the next 60, 90 days? Or are you looking forward to being at home base?
Yeah, I'm traveling a lot less
Mm.
since the pandemic, and I haven't gone back to the pace, and I'm okay with that. I'm also not working as hard as I used to, and I'm okay with that too. So, yeah, I might be past the peak on my career. I'm kind of doing more things as a lifestyle basis, what I want when I want. I have the luxury of being able to do that. I got two kids graduating from college in just a couple of
Oh,
weeks.
wonderful.
That takes a
Yeah.
lot of the pressure off, uh, if you will. So, yeah, I'm not interested in getting on a plane and flying to Vegas anytime soon.
Oh, jeez. Anywhere but Vegas. Can we
Anyway,
not come up with a new super
yeah,
destination? It's really
yeah.
tiring, but yeah, it's a whole nother rant. What about up in the lakes and the mountains of New Hampshire? What do you do for fun? Where are you going to be this summer? Where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm
As
never more happy than when I'm on the lake. So I do a lot of boating and cruising and swimming. I used to water ski quite a bit. Don't do as much of that anymore.
hmm,
So I really do have a thing for the lakes. I've been spending time in the lakes region since I was a kid on the weekends. So I grew up in Massachusetts. So this was a weekend place, and now I live here and go to the city on the weekends instead of the vice versa. But yeah, no, I enjoy the lake and the mountains and the outdoors. I'm also pretty active in community theater locally. We have some really
oh,
great,
no kidding.
yeah, we have some great theater here in New Hampshire, regional, community, professional, and so that's sort of a sideline that I'm involved with.
What's your favorite character that you've played or aspire to play? Anything from Shakespeare? I could see you
Well,
being a pretty good King Lear or something.
yeah, now
Or
that you
someone.
mention it, we just did a Shakespeare a couple of months ago. I was Lord Montague in Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, nice, nice
That was
one.
fun and a really great group of people. A lot of theater enthusiasts up here in the woods. It's a great way to spend your winter rehearsing and doing plays, and that goes back quite a while, quite a long time in New England. Your cabin fever is solved by theater. It turns out. So I also was involved with a sort of Shakespeare ripoff, something called Something Rotten. It's a musical and satirical and funny. And I played Shylock in that. That was about a year ago. So we do
Oh,
some
that sounds good.
Shakespeare. There's a couple of Shakespeare companies my daughter's been involved with. So very vibrant theater scene, and that's a nice alternative to sitting in front of a computer talking about technology.
Oh, it's great. Well, maybe I'll check it out. I have family with a place up in Guilford, so
Oh,
we'll be up there quite a lot, and I'll have to see you then. In the
yeah,
meantime, yeah, thanks for joining. Really quick chat update on your worldview and perspective, and look forward to the comments and feedback from the folks. And thanks everyone for watching.
my pleasure. Good to be with you all.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.